Hi everyone, good afternoon. So first thing first, my name is Rafael, I'm from Brazil, and this is probably, that I can remember, my first time I'm presenting something in English, so forgive something that I will say wrong. So this is a quote from Einstein, or maybe from Alcoholics Anonymous, I really don't know. Instead, it's doing the same thing over and over and again, expecting different results. And this has nothing to do what I'm going to show today, but this triggers something. So you need to change. So what you do when everything goes wrong, we change. So this is what I'm going to talk today. So changing is hard, and do you know why? So we have some sentiments, some emotions that prevents us to change, and fear is one of them. Inertia, laziness, safe place, accommodation, that's kind of safe place, and procrastination. So this is not like a life-changing, but it could be. It depends on you. And this is also not motivational, like life motivation, but if you are a developer, like everyone here, it should be if you write open source codes. So change as software upgrades. Does anyone here do open source? Okay, nice. For those who doesn't write open source code, will you write like some library in your company that is used for other people? Or just work in a project that evolves itself? The problem is we need to help people that use our software to continue to use our software. So when we change our software, we have to facilitate the change for the users. So first of all, it's versioning, right? You have to version your software. And semantic versioning, it's like the best, at least for my knowledge, way to versioning your software. So there's 3 points of changing version: major, minor, and patch. I'm going to talk about the three. So patch versions is the most minor change that you will have in your software. So when you have a bug and you fix this bug, this is a patch version that you'll do in your latest version and every major older version that you have. So if your software is in version 3.0 and you find a bug that is happening in version 2, you have to patch both versions, 3 and 2. Minor version, so every time you develop a new feature or refactoring some existing feature, that is not breaking change, so it isn't a breaking change, that it will not break like your interface, so your code interface, your method interface. This is a change that goes in the minor version. So you have like 3.0, you do a new feature, you can go to 3.1. You fix, you do a refactoring in your existing feature, and then you go to a 3.1, 3.2. And major version, every time you break something, every time you break compatibility, you do a major version. So Ruby is like always major version, so, but no, they did like breaking changes every patch versions. So maybe 2.1.1 works and 2.1.2 will not work with the same code base. This is wrong. So second step, defining and strict defining strict timelines. So what is this? What we want to launch. So we have to breathe. We have to have a brainstorm and decide what features we will launch in the next version, in the next major version, or in the next minor version, right? So we split features and goals between must have, nice to have, next version, and changing scope. So, yeah, we will not want to do this. So defining timelines of launching times must happen. You can't break these timelines because it affects other people besides yourself or your team. So if other people depends on your code, you have to maintain strict timelines. Okay, the gold medal of changes is the changelog. I don't know if anyone here has ever read changelog. So there's a lot of changelogs out there that isn't quite helpful. So I've faced like a lot of changelogs that is only changelog and nothing else. Or a changelog that is a list of commits. It's not helpful at all. So how to write good changelogs? You need to describe every change you made between the versions, okay? So do you have to write changelogs for patch versions? If you do like a lot of stuff, you have to write changelogs for patch versions also. But for a base rule, you will have a changelog update between minor and major versions. So how to not to do? 50 release, no changes. And this would be an example, but I don't know if we will open. Okay, so I can show you. But how do we keep track of everything that we've changed in our repository? It's hard, I know, but we already do this, right? So we're developers. We use GitHub or any other software like Bitbucket or I don't know, anything else. But we have issues. So we open issues and we close issues when we write code that solve it. So we can always track our changes using issues, right? Or pull requests. So this is a very helpful lib. It's written in Ruby, by the way. I don't like Ruby, but this is a good one. And what it does, it reads your repository in GitHub, and it reads all your issues. And every time you do a tag, you tag some commit with release change, version change, it will like break all those issues between those releases and add it automatically to your changelog. So you can be organized using issues in GitHub and then use this little lib to build your changelog. So you won't need to version correctly. Use GitHub or Bitbucket or anything you like. Use issues and milestone, and then run GitHub changelog generator. But please use this correctly. So issues can have labels that will be well described in the changelog. So when you do an issue, when you solve an issue that is labeled like bug, it will be described as a bug fix. If it's an enhancement, it will be described as well. So do use the features that you have. So I would open to questions, but since we have breaks, we don't need this. And that's it. Thanks.